Welcome to the Daily Globe. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. Good evening. Tonight, we bring you a story that is already being called one of the most dramatic developments in the history of international sports. In the world of international sport, some moments redefine history. These are the moments that fans, players, and nations remember for generations. Moments that change the very fabric of the game and the way we see it. Tonight, we witness one. FIFA has made a decision that's left the football world stunned. The news broke suddenly, catching even seasoned analysts and insiders off guard. The 2026 FIFA World Cup, once set to be a North American collaboration between Canada, the United States, and Mexico, will now be hosted solely by Canada. This is a move no one saw coming, and it's already being described as unprecedented in the tournament's long and storied history. The United States has been stripped of its hosting rights, and Canada, once the junior partner in this grand event, is now the sole stage for the world's biggest sporting spectacle. The Canadian flag now flies where many expected the stars and stripes to wave. This is a story of geopolitical intrigue, shifting alliances, and a new era for the beautiful game. Behind closed doors, negotiations and tensions have shaped this outcome, and the world is watching closely. The decision, announced just hours ago from FIFA's headquarters in Zurich, has sent shockwaves from Washington, D.C. to the jubilant streets of Vancouver and Toronto. Across Canada, spontaneous celebrations have erupted, while in the U.S., disbelief and disappointment dominate the headlines. What was meant to be a celebration of continental unity is now a monumental challenge for Canada. The nation faces the daunting task of preparing stadiums, infrastructure, and logistics for an event of this magnitude, one that was originally meant to be shared across 3 countries. 48 teams, 104 matches, now all on Canadian soil. The world's eyes will be on cities from coast to coast as Canada steps into the global spotlight like never before. It's a seismic shift that will be debated for years. Experts are already weighing in on the potential impacts, from the sporting legacy to the political ramifications. The implications touch everything from diplomacy and economics to the very identity of a nation. For Canada, this is more than just a tournament. It's a defining moment, a chance to showcase its culture, resilience, and passion for the beautiful game to the entire world. To understand today's news, we must revisit the foundation of the 2026 World Cup. In June 2018, the United 2026 bid, an alliance of the US, Mexico, and Canada, won hosting rights, defeating Morocco by a wide margin. The vision, unprecedented scale and cooperation, leveraging 3 nations' infrastructure for the largest World Cup ever. The US was to host 60 matches, including all from the quarterfinals onward, with the final at MetLife Stadium. Mexico and Canada were each set for 10 matches, with Canada's games split between Toronto and Vancouver, a crucial step for the sport's growth there. That careful balance has now been upended. The first signs of trouble didn't come from official press releases or public announcements. Instead, they emerged quietly, almost imperceptibly, in the background of the football world. It started as whispers among European football journalists. Hushed conversations in press boxes, subtle exchanges in stadium corridors, and cryptic messages passed between trusted colleagues. Soon, rumors began to swirl across newsrooms and social media feeds, hinting at a major disagreement brewing between FIFA and the US Soccer Federation. The story was still unconfirmed, but the tension was unmistakable. At the heart of the dispute were commercial rights, lucrative sponsorships, broadcasting deals, and, most critically, FIFA's demand for sweeping financial and legal guarantees from the host nation. The US government, wary of overreaching commitments and bound by strict federal laws, refused to meet these terms. This refusal quickly escalated the situation, turning a negotiation into a standoff. In response, FIFA called an emergency meeting in Zurich, summoning representatives from all 3 host nations. The atmosphere was tense, with uncertainty hanging over every conversation. The American delegation stood their ground, citing not only federal laws, but also the need to protect public funds and uphold fiscal responsibility. Their position was clear, and they would not budge. With no compromise in sight, FIFA was left with no choice but to consider the unthinkable, moving the tournament out of the United States entirely. Mexico, already stretched thin with its own commitments, admitted they couldn't absorb the full tournament schedule on such short notice, despite their passion and experience. That left Canada unexpectedly thrust into the spotlight as the only viable option. With its modern stadiums and enthusiastic fans, Canada was ready to step up. And so, in a dramatic turn of events, the World Cup shifted north, forever changing the course of football history. With Canada now the sole host, the tournament's structure has been completely redrawn. The World Cup will run from June 11 to July 19, 2026, across 8 Canadian cities. Toronto and Vancouver remain key hubs, joined by Montreal, Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg, Hamilton, and Ottawa. Toronto's BMO Field will host the opening match and Canada's first game. The tournament will stretch across the country, posing immense logistical challenges for teams and fans. The grand final is set for Vancouver's BC Place, a fitting stage for the world's attention. Reaction to FIFA's decision has been swift and deeply divided. In Canada, euphoria erupted. Fans gathered in Toronto, waving flags and chanting in celebration. "This is unbelievable. It's a dream come true," one fan said. "To have the whole thing? This puts Canada on the map like never before." Online, the Canada 2026 trended worldwide within an hour. Canadian football officials expressed excitement and acknowledged the immense task ahead. Charmaine Crooks, president of Canada Soccer, called it a historic day and promised Canada would rise to the challenge. Organizers know the world's confidence now rests on their ability to deliver. The pressure is on. The economic stakes are enormous, both a windfall and a risk for Canada. Originally, Canada's share of the projected $5 billion impact was just $1 billion. Now, as sole host, Canada could see over $10 billion injected into its economy, with more than 5 million international visitors expected. The hospitality, transportation, and construction sectors are bracing for record demand. The federal government has announced a $2 billion National World Cup Infrastructure Fund to support upgrades and expansion. It's a long-term investment with the potential for a lasting legacy. Beyond economics, hosting the World Cup alone will reshape Canada's cultural and political landscape. The event is being positioned as a unifying force, reminiscent of the 2010 Vancouver Olympics. In a time of regional tensions, this national project could foster renewed pride and unity. Politically, it's a major win for the current government, projecting competence and global influence. The Prime Minister's office is already framing the decision as proof of Canada's reliability on the world stage. Expect this narrative to dominate in the months ahead. To make sense of these seismic events in world football, we turn to the experts, the journalists and analysts who have spent years dissecting the sport's biggest stories from the vantage point of the press box. Their insights help us understand not just what happened, but why it matters. Esteemed journalist Tariq Panja, who has covered FIFA for years, sees this as a calculated power play by FIFA President Gianni Infantino, a leader known for his strategic maneuvering behind the scenes. FIFA's business model depends on absolute compliance from host governments. They want to ensure their terms are met without resistance, and they're willing to flex their muscle to get it. The US balked at some of FIFA's strict requirements, and Infantino made an example of them, sending a clear message to future hosts about who holds the power. Canada, Panja explains, was simply more willing to agree to terms the US would not. Their flexibility opened the door for this historic opportunity. From a sporting perspective, analyst Alexi Lalas is less concerned with politics and more with the practical realities facing teams and players. "Forget the politics. Think about the players," Lalas said. "The demands on them, will be unlike anything we've seen at a World Cup. Teams could find themselves playing in Montreal one day, then flying 5 hours to Vancouver, and then back to Winnipeg within just a few days. The distances are vast and the schedule is relentless. The travel, time zones, and climate shifts will impact performance and recovery. Fatigue and jet lag could become deciding factors in who advances. The team that manages jet lag, sleep, and recovery best might just win it all. Preparation off the pitch will be as crucial as tactics on it. The consensus in the press box is clear. This World Cup will test not just footballing skill, but also endurance, adaptability, and the ability to thrive under pressure. For Canada, the opportunity is immense. Hosting the world's biggest sporting event could transform the nation's football culture, but the logistical and competitive challenges are just as great. The world will be watching, eager to see how Canada rises to meet this moment on the global stage. The world of football has been turned on its head. Years of planning and partnership have dissolved in a dramatic display of power. The 2026 World Cup, once a symbol of unity, is now a testament to Canadian audacity. The US is out. Canada holds the keys. The shock is fresh, but one thing is certain. The world is coming to Canada. It's a moment of unparalleled opportunity and risk. The countdown to a new chapter in football history has begun.